Hey guys, it's your girl Nandi Mahlobo and welcome to my YouTube channel. So, I am so excited. Welcome to Nandi's Couch. It's so exciting to have you guys again. I actually have had such a crazy day, and this is why I am actually taking this vlog right now at night, because I know tomorrow is going to be very hectic and I still have a lot of editing to do. So I would like to actually welcome you all, and if this is your very first time, I'd like to say thank you for joining me. You are really welcome and appreciated. And if you are a returning viewer, I'd like to say hey to my champs. Thank you for coming back. Welcome back. And so yeah, that's what I'm going to say. And to everyone that has been supportive and have sent me messages, calls, like so many things, like DMs and everything, and you have been touched by my story, I'd like to say thank you for your words of wisdom. Thank you for showing your support, and thank you for showing me that you guys care. I won't even lie, I thought that by sharing my story, it has been a while. 8 years later, I decided to share my story. I thought that a lot of people might have forgotten about it, and to my surprise, a lot of people haven't. In fact, a lot of people still remember the story, and there have been people that have been vocal about how they always wanted to hear what really happened on that night. And I really, really am glad that I was able to speak the truth of what really happened in that night and share and be open about living under unfavorable conditions in my relationship, and obviously being in an abusive relationship, which was not easy. And I'm sure those that are actually still experiencing abuse right now, they'll know how hard it is to actually be in a relationship where you do not have your own control of your own life. You have your partner wanting to tell you everything, and it's very, very hard. So this is why, because I'm still under the theme of women and child abuse, so today I am going to be speaking about the red flags of being in an abusive relationship. So wait for it. So as I've said, that I'm going to be speaking about 10 traits of being of an abusive relationship, right? So basically there are far more than just 10 traits out there, or 10 red flags out there. There are so many. There's so many type of abuse. There's emotional, there's verbal, there's actual physical abuse, and there are just so many. So I decided that I'm just gonna take 10, and what I've realized is that the 10 that I'm gonna be touching on are very much common in almost every abusive relationship. And it's actually going to be easy for someone who might not even be sure whether they are in a relationship that is being abusive or it's a normal relationship. A lot of people often blame victims for why staying, why do this, why do that. Sometimes, to be honest, people might not even know that they are in an abusive relationship. People might think that it's just that partner being who they are, or that partner just treating them the way he is or she is used to, and that actually causes a lot of confusion as a victim, because you tend to not know whether what you're experiencing is right, or what you're experiencing is not right. Even though if it's not right, is it enough to be alarmed by? So it's quite very, very interesting to find out that there are people that actually are in abusive relationships, but they aren't aware of it, or they just aren't aware of the rights that they have. they do not feel comfortable in standing up for themselves. And that comes with a lot of reasons behind that, because it could be like they're worried about the safety of themselves, safety of their children, safety of their loved ones. The list is endless, so today as I said, I am going to be sharing on 10 traits of an abusive relationships. And this is going to be my take on it. And as I said, this is not every abuse traits that's out there, and this is not going to cover everything that is out there, right? And it may differ from person to person or relationship to relationship, so do bear in mind that it's not going to be exactly the same, but do pick up on the key notes on it. Okay, so I'm just gonna jump right on it, right? So the first one that I'm gonna be talking about or sharing on is the verbal abuse, and that is when does your partner actually like calling you names? Does your partner belittle you in front of people, or will swear at you, or will call you dumb or stupid, or make you feel small and just try and break your self-esteem? Now, if your partner does that, that is some form of abuse, just so you know. Now, whether they say they're joking or they just try and make it a joke or whatever, do not be accepting of that. Do not allow them, stop it in the beginning. Like once they try and do that, just ask them, please be respectful of my feelings and do not speak to me that way. Now, it's different when you and your partner like to play like that or joke or whatever the case might be. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about when someone is being serious about what they are saying, and only when you have reacted in a certain way, then they decide to say, oh no, I was just joking with you. Now I'm talking about that. Now that is a form of abuse, so be aware of that. It is a form of abuse. That's verbal abuse, swearing, calling names, and all that is just not acceptable. And number 2, control, right? So is your partner or one of the partners always in control of everything that goes in the relationship? Like, you do not have a say in anything, and you are being controlled even on how you spend money. Like, your partner knows that, you know what, I control everything, and so sometimes they'll use assets or resources as a form of punishment, and they know that, okay, once they control that, then it's like they are able to make you or force you into doing something that you do not want to do. So in the beginning of the relationship, or even have passed the beginning of the relationship, it's important that you feel that you are being taken as a partner, and your partner is really like taking you seriously, and you have freedom of such things. You have freedom of being able to use that car, spend that money, do whatever you want, right? Basically, without going overboard, of course. Okay, so the third one, going on to the third one, is isolation. So this is basically whereby your partner actually doesn't want you to be around other people except them. It starts small. I remember that I also had or came across that in my own relationship, in my past relationship, whereby my partner started isolating me. Like, he started making sure that whenever I go to visit my mom, he's there. I started losing friends. I stopped going out with my friends. He went as far as actually going and us living away from everyone. I lived on a farm. I had no neighbors. I hardly like saw other people or even my friends and family, and if anyone were to see me, they had to come to the house. And obviously it's not always going to be about me and having people come over. So he knew that not everyone is going to be willing to keep driving to me just to see me. So that's a form of isolation. Do not allow yourself to change if you do not want to. Be out, like go out, have your friends, be an individual, like continue to do things that make you happy as an individual, not things that always include your partner. So be very careful when someone just starts isolating you and you're seeing changes in your other relationships, as in like your family and friends, and you're always with this constant partner, because then they want to control you. And once they control where you go to and the things that you do, then they easily can manipulate you without having external factor or feedback from your family telling you this is wrong or this is right? So isolation, be very careful of that. And once you see that it's starting to happen, be aware of it and speak about it. Talk to your partner and tell them that, you know what, I am me and you are you, and I still love to be with my family and friends, and I would want the same for you. And have other relationships. It's good, it's healthy actually to have other people in your life. The third one is, are you in a relationship where and like having unexplained fear, like you fear your partner, you can't disagree with them, you cannot be able to. So it's like, basically it's unexplained fear. That is the fourth one that I'm talking about. Are you living in fear? Are you in a home or in your relationship don't have the freedom that you are meant to have? Remember now, when we are talking about relationships, we are talking about adults. You're an adult, you have your own mind, you have your own decisions, you might have your own dreams and own plans. If you are married, you have to marry the two. Even though you marry the two, you still have individual things that you would like to accomplish in your life that might not necessarily include your partner. So yeah, now I'm talking about having a fear of even expressing yourself. You cannot disagree to your partner. You always feeling like if you say something, your partner is gonna use aggression against you, and he's gonna or she's going to fight you for standing your ground. Now that is unacceptable. That is also some form of abuse. Being forced or coerced into sexual activities, whether it's being having sex or kissing or any other activities that might be sexual, if it is forced, that is abuse. It is not right. Whether you are married or not, when someone or whoever it might be try to force themselves on you, it is not acceptable, and that is some form of abuse, and you should speak about it. Speak up about it. Speak to them about it. That I've realized that sometimes it might happen when people are drunk. Your man or your woman might come back home and they are drunk, and then they force themselves on you. It's still not acceptable, still abuse. Whether it's your partner of many years, 20 years, I don't care. It's still not acceptable. So just be aware that it is still some form of abuse. Going to the sixth one, it's stalking. You must realize this now. Does your partner use like technology, use any other form just to stalk you, know what you're doing, who you're talking to, what are you busy with? Like some men especially would even go as far as bugging your phone or having having you traced in any form of way, or even in your in the car, you know, they put certain devices to actually pry on your privacy and see what is going on. Now, like, it is very important to know that to know that okay, let's just be clear on this. You know, it makes sense for security purposes to actually kind of like be able to know where your partner is, in terms of, especially when it involves danger, or putting them in danger or whatever. But now I'm talking about where someone puts a certain app on your phone without your permission to actually check what is going on in your phone. When somebody actually puts a device on your car just to track you where you are and be constantly checking what you're doing. When someone forces you to let out information about you that you might not be comfortable in letting out, or you are at work and your partner comes at work and checks what you're doing, what are you up to, or even after work, that is abuse. That is not normal. No real or normal relationship, or happy relationship, or healthy relationship should be run like that, or should be done like that. So stalking is actually not right at all. So that is also abuse. Okay, let me just check here. Okay, so another form of abuse that one should be aware of, if intimidation, and that is number 7. So intimidation, does your partner use threats? Okay, will threaten you when they want you to do something. They'll use threats so that you are actually forced to do what they want and when they want it. Like, for example, your partner are they liking to manipulate you into doing things, and if you don't or decide not to, then they're gonna say, I'm gonna kill you, or I'm gonna kill our kids, or I'm gonna commit suicide. Now, when someone threatens you like that, that is also some form of abuse. It's not supposed to be. Nobody is supposed to threaten you if you do not want to do something. I mean, the best that they can do is just walk out of the relationship if they see that you aren't what they want, or you aren't doing what they want you to do. All right, so be aware that intimidation of any sort is definitely abuse. So be aware of that. It's very important to know that. And you shouldn't be threatened at any cost, at any time. Okay, now moving on to number 8. Okay, so number 8 is fear. Right, so another trait of being in an abusive relationship and fear. In this case, we are talking about, do you feel like you are afraid of your partner? Do you actually constantly worried about making them angry, you know, and you're constantly worried that if you disagree on doing something, then something else is going to happen? Then that is not right. That is abuse as well. And you can't be in a relationship and be walking on eggshells. It's just not right, and it shouldn't be, and that is some form of abuse, and you need to speak to your partner about it. And if it doesn't change, then it's up to you to do whatever you want to do, if you want to continue in that relationship or not. However, it is important that I share that that is some form of abuse. Number 9 is a famous one: jealousy and possessiveness. Okay, so this one is very, very common, I would say. It's a very common form of abuse, as well as a trait in relationships. It is not normal for your partner to be constantly jealous about about you. This is whereby your partner is like she or he controlling what you wear, like how you wear it, how you look. They become very not happy when they see that you are happy and you are looking good and all those things. Now, that is some form of abuse. Jealousy is just not right. It is not nice to be told what to do as an adult and be treated like a small child. It is not right. So when it comes to possessiveness, I actually experienced it in my past relationship. And jealousy, I could not do a lot of things. And with my case, I always used to think in the beginning, this one is different, or maybe this is how he does things. But then later on, I realized, no, this is it's an obsessive behavior and it's unhealthy, and your partner should not always constantly be worried about you looking how. Okay, so yeah, jealousy is a big problem. That's number 9, right? So it is quite a big factor in my relationship, my ex relationship. I found that it actually started small, but it went further and further. I couldn't wear certain things when he's not around. Whenever I look good, he will feel good only because it made him feel good when he's around me. Does your partner make you feel like you are doing something wrong by feeling good and looking good, or wanting to lose weight or gain weight? And they just want to control and be possessive about everything that you do. So it is not right. It is not love either. It's not healthy. It is fine to be like, when people admire your partner, you be like, but that partner is that person belongs to me, as in like, it is my partner. That is fine, but it's not ownership. Relationships are a partnership, not an ownership. Just let's be clear on that. Once someone wants to own you, that is unhealthy, and that is something to be taken very seriously. You are not an object. You are a human being with your own mind, with your own beliefs, with your own things. And when you come together to become one, and you have to share. So you have to compromise here, there, do what you like, do what the next person or your partner likes. It has to be like that. If it's not like that, and you feel like the power is skewed to one side over the other, then you know that there is something wrong. So the last one that I want to talk about is the actual physical violence in the relationship. That is very obvious. I think it has been stressed so many times that once someone hits you or pulls your hair or burns you or hits your thighs or any form of touching or any form of pulling that is not acceptable to you, that is not comfortable to you, that is not something you like, it is abuse, and you should speak about it and talk and speak up about it. Now, one thing I do know, that once someone starts hitting you, it never stops. It never stops until you walk out of the relationship. I don't know why, but for some reason, it's always very difficult for someone to stop hitting you once they start. So yeah, as I was explaining, the last one is violence. Violence of any form. If someone infringes your rights, if someone hits you, if someone pulls your hair, if someone forces you to do something, if someone drags you, whatever, it's just not right, and it is abuse, and you should report it, or you should speak on it, or whatever the case might be. But just know that it is abuse. If someone loves you, let's just put it like this. If someone loves you, when you love something, whatever it is, you do not want to hurt it. You do not want it to feel pain. Now, love is not painful. Love is a beautiful thing. I think it's one of the greatest gifts that God gave us. Love, it's supposed to be pure, it's supposed to be special, it should be good, it should make both of you happy. And the minute you feel like it's not making you happy, I think the best solution will be for you to find someone else that is going to make you happy, or something else that's going to make you happy. And I can't stress this enough, especially to women. Ladies, it's important that you do tell someone. Should anything happen to you, at least someone will have an idea that, oh, this person did mention that this was going on. In my case, yes, a lot of people knew that the abuse was going on, right? They did. And one thing I realized that with my partner, he was actually mentally not stable. He wasn't the man that I met. It all changed. I don't know how, I don't know why, but it all changed, and every day it will escalate to the highest. And it always, for some reason, I used to think this was the worst, and it got worse and worse and worse until the end, basically. So I think that it is very important for you as a person of being a victim in the situation is that you do speak about what is happening in your relationship. You do share with your friends and hear them out. And if you feel like you are no longer want to be in the relationship, do work out an exit plan. As I said, it's quite very complicated. I can't easily say just walk out of the relationship, but do report it to the family members, whoever, elders, whatever, but do report it, because it could save your life. It could save the life of your children. It could save your life of your family, your own family members now, like your mom, your dad, whoever, because those people could be in danger. So it is very important to report on. Yeah, guys, so I have explained the top, my own 10 traits, right? So the red flags would be there. Do not ignore the red flags. Please do not. It is important that you monitor what goes on in your relationship. It is important to monitor what is right and what is wrong. And what is right and what is wrong could vary from person to person. However, we all know the right and from wrong. Generally, we know the norm from the abnormal. So you'd be able to differentiate, as much as you're going to use your own discretion, but you'll be able to differentiate. So recapping on it, the first one is verbal abuse, right? The second one, control. Check if your partner is trying to control everything that you do. The third one is isolation. Is your partner making sure that you are not mixing with other people except for them? The fourth one is unexplained fear. Do you fear your partner and you don't know why and you can't understand why? Fifth one, forced and coerced sex or sexual activities. The sixth one, the stalking. Is your partner stalking you and you do not feel like you have your own individual privacy? The seventh one is intimidation, or do they threaten you and promise to kill you, or any form of intimidation? Do they do that to you? Because that's also abuse. And the eighth one, do you live in the fear one also? Do you live in fear of making your partner angry at all times? The ninth one is jealousy and possessiveness. We've went through that. The last one is physical violence and abuse. So as I said, I was going to share what I thought that was important for people to understand, whether it's woman or man, child, whoever. It is important to understand that you are in any relationship of any form, you are meant to be happy, not meant to be sad, not meant to be in pain, not meant to be controlled, not meant to not feel like you're living your own life. And that's all I have to say. If you do want to contact me further, please do email me on nandimahlobo@gmail.com, and you can also DM me at nandi-mahlobo on IG. And thank you very much. Mwah.